Buddy. Welcome to today's news. We have some unfortunate information for Horizon, the American Saga fans. Mia Goth has maybe found herself in some hot water, and then also there is a auction that you don't want to miss. All right, everybody, welcome back. Today we have some interesting things to talk about. So, recently, there was a movie that Kevin Costner has been kind of footing the note for. He's sunk, I think, 20 million into each one of the movies with the plan of four movies. And this is the Horizon American Saga Chapter 1, which just released last month. Now, they were going to do something interesting and they were going to pump out a second movie, um, Horizon American Saga Chapter 2, in August. They were just gonna give it, like, I think it was roughly 2 months in between the 2 movies to, I don't know, try to catch a wave of Westerns, and it was announced today that they are pulling it from the August release. They were saying that, they said further in here that the first movie hasn't done as well, and they're hoping that they're going to put it for video on demand and on Max, and hope that after it gets some more views out of the theater, that they will release chapter 2 in theaters next year or the following year. They haven't quite said what the plan is there. Now, I feel personally they kinda did this to themselves. I feel like the marketing was kind of lacking for this movie, and in our local theater, there was only 2 showings a day. This was not being marketed very well. I mean, obviously, they weren't planning for a lot of people to show up for this movie, which is unfortunate because I've seen a lot of decent reviews. I'm sorry, decent's the wrong word. A lot of rad reviews. Here on Criticlist, you see we have 20 votes with a 67%. So it is sitting at a high rad, or a middle of the road rad. So people are digging this movie. So the question is, why didn't it do well? And I think, like I said earlier, that has to come down to the marketing. I feel this didn't get quite the marketing. And then I've heard some people that weren't as hot on the movie, Blaine was one of them, that the movie was kind of jumbled and didn't make a lot of sense. We did a review of it on this channel a couple weeks ago, and everyone was kind of just like, well, this was kind of muddled. And I kind of wonder if that's part of the problem, or is the problem that Westerns are just kind of not a big theater production? We've all heard, had at least 1 to 2 people on our shoulders telling us, hey, watch Yellowstone, go do it, and watch the follow-up sequels. And those were Westerns, those were critically acclaimed TV shows. So is it that the theater experience for a Western isn't there anymore? I mean, we don't have a lot of Westerns that come out, and if most of them that come out just kind of sneak past. So, is that the problem? I don't know, and I think Kevin Costner is not happy. He was really hoping this was gonna be a big deal. I think they were planning at least 4 or 5 movies, and like I said earlier, he's been sinking money into this. So he's out pretty big. I think he's really hoping that the video on demand market and the Max market will really help. And maybe it will. I mean, maybe I'll check it out at that time and I can sit back and watch a good old Western. I don't know. But on the heels of maybe Western franchises dying, speaking of another dying dinosaur, Redbox, the movie rental company, the follow up to blockbusters, the cheap way to get a physical copy. Its parent company, Chicken Soup for the Soul, is filing bankruptcy and is going to be liquidating all their red boxes. They're going to be shutting down all their kiosks, and yeah, I guess they're going to just go off and die. And which is unfortunate for a lot of people because I think that's one of the few ways to actually get a physical rental nowadays. I don't think you can. There's very few movie rental companies that still exist. I don't think anybody does physical. I don't think Netflix has a physical option anymore. I don't think anybody is filling that void. And maybe it's not a void. Maybe that's why Redbox is going under because so much things are going straight to streaming from theaters and they're not worried about physical copies. But I did want to briefly talk about because what in the world is up with Chicken Soup for the Soul owning a Redbox? So I did a little digging on that. This is just a little sidebar for you that are interested in this little tidbit. They bought Redbox in 2020, I think it was. Yeah, for 50 million, and they took on $325 million in debt. And the idea that they were gonna build some sort of media empire or something? Well, apparently that didn't work out very well because here we are just a couple years later and they're going, "Oh no, sorry, it was 2022." So we're talking 2 years ago, they bought Redbox and are now going bankrupt from this purchase. So, I think you can safely say that was a bad business decision. Um, so I just thought that was a very interesting tidbit to tell you guys. So I think if you stop seeing red boxes in your local Walmarts, or for me, it's my local CVS, that's why, because they liquidated the company and had to sell all their assets, which means all the kiosks. Which, I mean, that was a dying thing, anyways. Who in the world was like, yes, let's do that? Let's buy a physical media rental company. I don't know who does that. So, all right, on to the next bit. So, it is coming out that Mia Goth allegedly told a extra that he was a nothing and that she on purposely hit him on set during the shooting. So she's being sued for battery on set, and this um, James Hunter has gone on record saying that she on purposely kicked him on set and then later on cornered him against a bathroom, a porta potty, and told him to just get off set, that nobody would ever believe him because he was a nothing. This is interesting. I don't know if anything will happen from this. They might just settle out of court, but it's curious to see this because Maxine came out last week and is doing pretty well. It's the end of the T West or Ty West movie trilogy. That's, people love it or they hate it, or they just like, I'm not gonna watch it because it's a horror movie. Personally, I've really enjoyed X, and then Pearl was good, but not as good in my mind. I think X was a bit scarier and more entertaining. And I have not seen Maxine yet, but Maxine is currently sitting at a rad also with a 65%. So it does seem that people are enjoying Maxine. I've seen Mia Goth in other things. I think she's a pretty good actress. She steals the show in most of the movies. I don't know if anything will happen to her from this. Apparently, Hunter is also suing the director and I think the production company. And he's pretty vocal about what happened to him. And this is one of the few times I think we see a male coming out being like a female hit me or battered me or anything like that. So it's interesting. I personally don't think we'll see anything from this. This might be just the only time you even hear this. If you've heard it from me, this will probably be a blip that disappears since we've seen Hollywood so quickly cover up things for many other actors. So we shall see. All right. And the last piece of news. Oh, yeah. Check that out. Princess Leia's bikini, Thor's hammer, Din Djaro's helmet, and many other awesome Hollywood set items are up for auction. All right. Now, if I had the money, I would be buying Din Djaro's helmet. There are so many cool things that are currently up for market or for sale. And I was like, oh, cool. I would love to own like a something from one of these movies. I love a lot of these movies, and I know Star Wars has a lot of negative press for the last decade, but I still love the older stuff. And I was like, cool. Could you imagine owning something cool like Leia's metal bikini or Thor's hammer or Dinjaro's helmet? That'd be that cool. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna keep reading to see what this is priced as. Buckle up for this. I mean, maybe you guys have already guessed, but this stuff is gonna be bonkers expensive. For the bikini itself, $30,000 is the starting bid. I bet it'll go for like 100 plus. Why wouldn't it? I mean, that's iconic. It's something most people saw when they were young and were just like, wow, this set my levels of expectations for certain things. Next, Din Djarin's helmet, the Mandalorian starting at 20,000. The USS Excelsior at 40,000. Script of the 2001 Space Odyssey will start at 10,000 for a script. That's crazy in my mind. Sorry, that might not be that crazy. Says some people, they might jump over and be like, "That's perfect." But Mjolnir will be 17,000 to start. Well, no, we'll have to pay up to 17,000. God, I couldn't even imagine just owning one of those items, just being like, "Look at this. This is from the movie that I've watched a million times, and I own it, and it's sitting right here." I'd show that off all the time. Like, if it was the bikini, I might even just wear that around personally, because 'cause I'd be like, "Look at this." So, what do you guys think? You guys gonna run out and play some bid, go get some of this awesome memorabilia from the movies? I hope so. If any of you do, well, please, I need to see some pictures. I wanna see some pictures so you can post in our comments some of the pictures you sent. Alright, well, that's all we have for news today. Tomorrow, we'll be dropping a review for Warcraft. So come back and check that out. That was a critically hated, audience loved movie. So, and it's on Netflix currently. So if you haven't seen it, go see it. Leave a review on criticlist.com. If you haven't, go ahead and create a profile. Come leave some reviews for things you love, for things you hate. Come join some of our cool groups and come meet some new people that love movies and entertainment. This is what we're all about. All right. If you haven't also, like, subscribe, comment.